What's going on, beautiful and exotic women of the world? I want to welcome you all back to another video. I have a juicy one for you guys today because I have experienced this very often. This video is about avoiding people who fish for your attention, your energy, compliments, praise, etc. These people tend to be empty on the inside. And to these people, exoticals especially are shiny toys. They see us as objects to have their way with or to get something from. And that is why exoticals especially need to be aware of this and to protect themselves at all costs. The first types of people who I want you guys to avoid are the people that fish for your compliments and praise. I cannot tell you how many times I've experienced people who simply want to be seen by me so that I acknowledge them. People who I know who will say, how do I look in this? Or, oh, I hate how my body looks in this. And then they kind of give you these puppy dog eyes, like they want you to tell them they look good. And it's like, it really does boil down to insecurity and them not feeling adequate within themselves. But it also is that they have put you on a pedestal to where they want you to validate their existence, how they look, what they have on, how their body looks. And they kind of fish for compliments from you or for praise from you so that they can feel good inside. And it's because they've propped you up on a pedestal to be ideal, and getting compliments and praise from you means a lot to them. And I find it exhausting with these types of people because they'll always come to you for praise and validation instead of validating themselves. So you'll find that if you have a friend like this, the whole friendship will be her self-deprecating on purpose so that you will compliment her. But then a lot of times what this turns into is narcissism, because then they start to feel like, all right, she's praising me, she's giving me compliments, she's being kind to me. Now I'm about to turn it up a notch and I'm about to start acting like I'm the shit, even though I know I'm not, and try to compete with her. It always backfires and turns into some type of competitiveness or comparativeness with people like this. I also had a guy friend a few years ago who did this a lot. He would oftentimes tell me about something he was doing within the industry he was working in. So he was working in entertainment and in music, and he would get invited to a lot of these really cool parties and events and stuff like that. And he would always tell me who he was hanging around yesterday or who he took a picture with last week, or, you know, something going on within his job and his field of work. And I would always just be like, wow, that's so cool, awesome. And then I would see how his eyes would kind of light up when I would give him that praise of like, wow, that's awesome, that's so cool. And like right after me praising him, he would be like, oh yeah, and then I met this person the other day, and then I made a song with this person the other day. And it's just like, dude, it almost felt like every time he would say this and I would tell him like, wow, that's so cool, that's awesome, congratulations, it would feed something in him to where he wouldn't even say like, thanks, like thank you for admiring that, or thank you for acknowledging that. He would just like keep piling on the things for me to compliment him on. And it became very uncomfortable for me because I'm not here to stroke your ego. I don't know what this game is that you're playing with me, but I'm not about to sit here and stroke your ego. And that's the basis of our friendship. And then I had to realize that a lot of times with exoticals and with beautiful women, people, your friends, whether male or female, will come to you because they want to feel that admiration from you. They really don't care if it's coming from someone who's unattractive or someone who's not significant to them, but because they have made you significant in their mind, whether they admit it out loud or not, they desire for you to validate their experiences. They desire for you to tell them congratulations and to stroke their ego. And that's when it becomes a little weird, because for me, it's like, why are you so obsessed with me praising you? It just shows that they have made you very, very important, and your opinion is very, very important. Even if they try to play it off as though you're not important to them, or they don't really care, or they're so nonchalant, if they feel the need to fish compliments and praise out of you, that is a telltale sign that they have pedestalized you in their mind. And you just got to be careful with these people, because you never know where they're going to draw that line and how far they'll go to get that ego stroked. And I also think it's a little scary, because if you do stop stroking that ego, you never know what monster you're going to awaken. You don't know what is on the other side of you pulling back your praise and admiration from them. I noticed too with these people, they have a hard time congratulating you. They have a hard time praising you. For example, this guy friend that I'm talking about had come to visit me after I moved across the country and had all these great opportunities with. And when he came out here, I thought he was going to ask me about, you know, my move and how I was able to do it and all the amazing things I accomplished. But he really just talked about himself most of the time that I saw him. And it was really unsettling because you have all the time in the world to talk about yourself and you want me to praise you, and you're giving off this vibe that you want me to congratulate you for every little thing, even if it's something minor like, oh, somebody famous breathed on me, or like somebody famous was in the room with me the other night, or was in the bathroom that I pissed in the other night or something. But when it comes to me and my accolades and my achievements, you are on mute. And that's something I notice with these people, and that's why you have to be very careful with those types of people. I would also say to beware of energy vampires. These are the one-sided friendships, the narcissistic boyfriend or girlfriend. These are the toxic family members that only want to talk about themselves. These are the types of people to avoid. A lot of times, energy vampires have one thing on their minds, and it's to take from you. And a lot of times we can be empaths, so we can be very kind, loving, giving, nurturing, and that is just a breeding ground for narcissists to feed off of. They don't see you as somebody who they would pour into. They see you as somebody who they can take from. So you have to be very careful when you are navigating friendships, relationships, and familial relationships with these people, because they will look at you as a source of, again, stroking their ego, a source of validation, and a source of energy. With narcissists, they cannot create their own happiness. So they have to siphon it from other people who are genuinely happy, who have good hearts. This is what psychologists would call narcissistic supply. So if you found yourself in a relationship with a man who all he did was talk about himself, child, I had an ex that did that in the beginning, and I was so young that I didn't see that as a red flag. But every time I would talk to him on the phone in the beginning of our relationship, he would just go on and on and on and on about himself all day. All he did was talk about what he did for the day, what he ate, what TV show he watched, what he's about to be up to this weekend, what his dreams and aspirations are. And then anytime I would try to talk about something going on with me and my life, he would barely acknowledge it, or he would get silent and then go back to talking about himself. And so that's how you know somebody is an energy vampire, is because they want to dump on you, but they don't want to pour into you or allow you to speak about your feelings, emotions, and what's going on in your life. I also had a female friend who I was friends with for a very long time, who, when she had hit a rock bottom in her life, she would call me a lot and kind of just dump on me all the time. And every time I would get off the phone with her, I would feel so low. I would feel so tired, sad, feelings that weren't my own, right? So it was really exhausting, and I'm like, why do I feel this way if I was just happy a few minutes ago before this girl called me? And it's because she is an energy vampire, so she was siphoning my energy to fill herself up because she was empty. And that's what you need to be aware of. A lot of these people need you to pour into them, and a lot of times they can't do the same for you when the tables turn. And that's why these types of relationships are dangerous and very harmful, because when you need people, they're not around. When you need people, they can't help you. When you need people, they're giving you excuses as to why they can't be that shoulder to cry on or that person to lean on. So just be aware of that, and if you do have energy vampires in your life, cut them off immediately. This is specifically something I noticed that happens with a lot of beautiful women, and I know a lot of exoticals can relate, is the people who want you to engage them in conversation, whether it's good or bad. We're going to talk about the people who purposely try to get you angry or piss you off to get your attention. I talked about this in a previous video about a creepy dude that was at my gym who did the most to get my attention, and he wouldn't stop until I spoke to him. Sometimes people do this because they simply want you to acknowledge their existence. A lot of times when people see beautiful women around them, they feel invisible because your beauty and your light might shine a little bit too bright for them. And so what they'll do is, if they feel like they can't get the reaction out of you that they want from engaging with you in a positive way, which could mean complimenting you, asking you about your hair, asking you about your outfit, if you're at the gym, asking you about your workouts, what they'll do is they will try to create some type of conflict between you and them so that you're forced to acknowledge their existence, and you're forced to speak up to them to either defend yourself, address them, check them, whatever the case may be. And these people are really the lowest of the low. These are low-life people who are bored and who look for targets for their weird sociopathic ways, and they will target you simply to get negative reactions. And what I would say to you ladies is to never engage in these things. I know it's easier said than done because sometimes people like to trigger you on purpose so that you argue with them, but you always end up leaving that situation feeling the worst. But isn't it funny that those people end up leaving the situation feeling better about themselves? And why do you think they feel better about themselves? They feel better because they were able to get you out of your character. They feel better because they were able to get your attention. They were able to be noticed by you, and that was their whole goal to begin with. A lot of these people just wanted you to notice them, and that's the sad, sick thing about being beautiful and being an exotical. People will just want you to notice them. Simple as that. They don't care if that means they have to fight you. At the end of the day, they are just looking to get a reaction out of you, whether it's good or bad, and a lot of times it's a lot sicker when they're looking for a negative reaction. It gives narcissists at the least, but definitely sociopath. So ladies, drop down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this video. I know a lot of you can relate to people going out of their way to get your attention, to siphon your energy, and to ultimately just annoy you so that you have to engage with them. You can also share your experiences with me by sending your stories to my email, which will be in the description box below. Have a lovely day, ladies.